Evil traits of Sagittarius Zodiac sign. While any sign has the propensity to be evil, each sign has its own particular evil that manifests through the sign's undesirable characteristics. There are different degrees of evil, from pettiness to betrayal and psychopathic tendencies. Let's take a look at some undesirable characteristics of the sign Sagittarius to see how their particular form of evil manifests. Number 1. Truth. Wait, isn't truth a good thing? Sure, but the way Sagittarius views the truth is slightly different from others. For Sagittarius, it's truth no matter what. There is a thing as being truthful and knowing when it's appropriate to be truthful. Sagittarians don't have the tact to keep themselves from giving harsh truths whenever they deem fit. How can the truth be evil? Sagittarians define truth through their perspective and are not always objective. They can take their personal truth and impose it on others. At the lower levels, this may just be an annoyance. But what happens if this particular person becomes an authority figure with lots of power? Then they can impose their truth and subjugate others to that truth. It's very important for Sagittarius to learn how to be objective so they can moderate their high ideals. Number 2. Infidelity. This trait may apply more to Sagittarius men than women, but I'll speak of the traits generally. Two major traits for Sagittarius are inconsistency and changeability, and these tendencies lend themselves towards infidelity. Sagittarians fear being tied down and tend to view committed relationships as anchors rather than opportunities. Most Sagittarians are convinced that they need to see as many people and places as possible to be fulfilled, but this represents a very egotistical and poorly thought-out view of human existence. Because of their ego, Sagittarians are likely to cheat in relationships or demand open relationships in which they're not fully committed to just one person. This may not be an evil trait per se, but the tendency towards infidelity and the harm it causes even just one person is enough to be considered at least slightly evil. 3. Boundlessness. Boundaries are important, unless you're Sagittarius. As previously mentioned, Sagittarians don't like to be tied down by anything, and that includes rules. Typically, Sagittarians will obey the law, but not if they deem the law unfair or too restrictive. They want everything to flow freely and openly, and this opens some doors that would be better off kept shut. Breaking down boundaries without consideration of long-term consequences can be anywhere from inconvenient to severely dangerous, depending on the circumstances. Again, in a position of power, a Sagittarius who decides to remove boundaries that have been necessary to the stability of a nation or institution could be potentially putting many at harm or risk because they didn't consider all of the consequences. The tendency to push boundaries is a slippery slope that can allow evil to slip in, and Sagittarius lives on this slope. Number 4. Holier than thou. Nobody likes a know-it-all, and Sagittarians tend to be the ones getting hate from people because of their tendencies to lecture and profess. Sagittarius is concerned with higher truths and principles. They typically want to correct those who they view are wrong in their principles, and they can't really help themselves when given the opportunity. Again, this trait has a range from being slightly annoying to being dangerous if used to control people. There's an inherent danger to those who think that they know better than others, because they'll make decisions without other people's consent or knowledge. Whether this is considered evil depends on the context. If the Sagittarian is abusing and harming others for the sake of their own vision of the greater good, then there's a moral conundrum that can surely be considered evil by some and good by others. Number 5. Irresponsible. All of the other traits boil down to this last one. If the Sagittarius is responsible, then their tendency to act in an evil way is significantly reduced. Without responsibility, however, the Sagittarian can easily fly off the handle and cause harm either to themselves, someone close to them, groups of people, or society at large, depending on their position. Irresponsibility can range from thoughtlessness to gross negligence to deliberate manipulation. The Sagittarius with power has many opportunities to abuse that power. So it comes down to being responsible. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe for all the updates.